Hi, I'm Suneera Madani, and I'm a mom of two, a daughter of an immigrant, and an unlikely entrepreneur who went from scaling an idea to $1 billion business. Yes, $1 billion business. Along the way, I learned that less than 2% of female founders ever hit 1 million in revenue, and I became obsessed on a mission to change that. I believe that there is so much gatekeeping in business knowledge, and that we as female entrepreneurs should be learning from other female founders and leaders who have broken the statistics. Since I never went to CEO school, I've had to learn it all the hard way, but you shouldn't have to, because we believe that you deserve to have it all. And honestly, nothing bad happens when women make more money. Grab a seat because class is officially in session. Welcome to CEO School. Good morning, ladies. Welcome back to CEO School, the podcast. I'm your host, Suneera Madani, and we are in Austin, Texas. And when I tell you about just serendipitous things that take place, I was speaking at the Inc. Founder House earlier this afternoon. And as you know, we've had amazing recordings through the afternoon that were already planned because I love to overbook my schedule and get all the things done all at once. I was on the panel and I saw a familiar face in the audience. And the thing that I was actually talking about while I was sharing while I saw Mary, was the fact that the magic happens in the room. You've got to be out of the screen. You've got to actually show up in person. And the questions were around success and how you've built so much success, how you found your first investors, how you got this, how you did that. And I was like, it's because I did it in person and I focused on building real relationships without having an ask. And when you show up just to support people, you show up without an ask, you get noticed for that. And while I was literally there, I saw Mary walk into the room and she gave me a smile and I'm like, oh my God, it's so funny because today it just was one of those days. And after the Inc. Founder House panel, I shot her a text. I got a chance to meet with her afterwards. And I was like, well, we were recording for the CEO School show. You need to come. And it wasn't planned. And this is exactly how life happens, business happens, and $1 million deals happen because you're in the room. And so I am so excited for today's episode with Mary C., who is the founder of the Bakery Co-work in Atlanta. She has exited multiple businesses, including her brand Cupcake Mafia. She has a giant digital community of over 10,000 women that look to her for business advice and all the things. And she is literally the coolest woman today that I know and is going to be my future bestie. Mary, welcome to CEO School.
Hey, best friend.
Hi, best friend. I am so excited. And by the way, you should right away, I don't share handles until the end of the show, but I need to do it now because it'll tell you everything and you need to know about her. Her Instagram handle is Miss Skittles. And literally, I feel like I have a bag of rainbow today with me. Our conversation has been so wild. Mary, I just want you to just take it from the top. Tell us about all the things that you're doing and your most unbelievable success. And just by the way, as she's gonna share this, I just want you to know her humility is just on another level. And so I'm so excited to have you, Mary.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I love everything you're doing for CEOs because it's so needed, And I started building community because when I lost my company, so let's take it all the way back. All the way back, I started as a music artist. I was literally a female rapper opening up for all of these artists when literally no one was in the audience, right? So that builds a level of resilience, a level of confidence that you need to become the person, for me to become the person that I am today.
From rapper to CEO.
From rapper to CEO to building $1 billion business, okay? And so from there, I went from music artist to, I always call myself the queen of the pivot. My senior year of college, I was like, okay, I got to do something else. I was styling all these artists. I was a head stylist and I was doing all these things, but I was like, I got to start a business. And I started a clothing company called Cupcake Mafia. And in very short time, we made $4 million and we got a $1.4 million purchase order from Forever 21. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But how do I fulfill at 24 years old? How do I fulfill this purchase order? And so it led me to signing to a distribution company. And my lawyer was so busy. He was like, oh, I can't get to it. Give me a month. And I was like, this is my life here. This is going to set me up for the rest of my life. Well, it didn't. I signed a very bad deal. I let them basically hire a lawyer for me. And in 6 months, I was fired from my own company. And I literally left New York. I moved everything from Atlanta, left New York, went and slept above my retail store that I had bought out of the deal just to save my 4 employees. So I cashed my retail store out of this contract just to save my 4 employees. But God knew that I was going to need to sleep upstairs in that retail, above that retail store on an airbed to refigure out my life. And while I was figuring out my life, I literally was like, I need to figure this out. Have to pay all these people. I have an apartment overlooking Central Park, all these expenses. And I literally had no company, nothing to do. Like, all my eggs was in that basket. And so from there.
And the rug was completely ripped under you. Like, I mean, it's not even like it went sour or something bad happened. When it happens in that format, like, how do you even like pick yourself back up?
Not even that, but just, yes, how do you pick yourself back up? But on top of that, who do you tell?
Yes.
Like, I can't call my mom and say, Mom, I got fired from my own company. It's not like getting fired from a job. I'm taking care of my family. I'm taking care of my mom. They're like, what do you do next? They have no advice for me. They're like, oh no, like, that's all they can say. So spent 6 months on an airbed, figuring out my life. I got a call, and this is why I always say it's so important to have amazing women in your life. It's so important to surround yourself with like-minded people. I called one of my best friends who had sold her business, Boss Babe, and I called her and I said, hey, Alex, I need some advice. And she's like, what? I'm like, I need you to redo my resume because Best Buy is hiring and I could work a night shift. No one would know. It's literally the store is closed and I could pay these 4 employees that I don't want to let go of because they've been with me so long. And she's like, no, if you built $1 million business, build another one. And from there, she's like, get online, start telling your information, start talking about what you've done and how you've built it. And that's what I did. I got on Periscope. I started sharing my story.
Oh my God, I remember that.
I got on Periscope. I started sharing my story and people were like, how can we learn more from you? We want to take a class. I'm like, I don't have classes. So I started filling up my retail store on Sunday nights when we were closed. They were paying $20 to have a whole master class about marketing and branding inside of my retail store. And then the world started to catch on and they're like, we need this worldwide. How do we join? And I created a digital community called Girl Mob. So now, okay, starting to get some money, starting to get my traction back up and at least getting my head above water. I got a call from a retailer, which was imperative to how I ended up getting fired from my company. So they kind of felt like, oh my God, we were in the middle of this, like we had to help her out. And a young lady, a buyer, called me and said, hey, we have a contract for over $1 million and we need you to be a consultant, but you have to have a marketing agency. And I literally was like, I don't have a marketing agency. Like, I'm just teaching girls online how to market themselves. She's like, listen, you have a retail business. You know everyone in the retail industry. Go and create a marketing agency. This contract is yours. It can change your life. And from there,
so she was looking out for you.
Looking out for me. I did it. I started this marketing agency called The Icing Agency, and it changed my life. I got that contract. And then in 2020, my company did $16 million. And I opened up a space for female entrepreneurs or aspiring women to connect and collaborate in Atlanta. And it's the largest female-focused co-working space called The Bakery.
Oh my goodness. This is honestly the best story I have had, like, on CEO School. I have interviewed the most amazing, incredible women, and I really feel touched by everything that you said. And you're just so incredible, Mary. Like, every single thing that you've done and the way that you've built yourself back up, going to the top, like literally having I can't tell you, I really connect with it. People don't know a lot about my childhood, but I went to 10 different schools in 12 years. Wow. So it wasn't because it wasn't fun. My parents were entrepreneurs out of necessity. And we've had to face a lot of resiliency as a family and things that bad decisions were made because of like the lack of education or being taken advantage of. And I've just seen my parents pick themselves up out of really not great situations. And I am everything I am because of those failures. And I don't view them as failures. And we just had that was how we grew up. And I just really want you to know that your story really touched me. And I'm so happy that your business is so incredible. And I love the fact that you really do embody supporting women because women supported you through all of the things. And now you're giving back in every which way that you can.
Every which way.
Every which way. Like everything.
I remember being on the airbed and like I have a really good relationship with God, but not like at that time, not as strong. And I remember telling him like, God, if you get me back to the top, I will never forget it. I will pour into every single soul that enters in front of me and give them what I have, because I wasn't that person. And when I started my clothing brand, I was reaching out to other women to mentor me and show me the ropes, and they didn't do it for me. So then I became that person. And when I got to the top of my business, my $4 million very small business, but other people were reaching out to me and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so busy. I have all these employees. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And so I felt like he took me back down to realize like, okay, you now have a purpose. Your purpose is to help other women not experience the traumatic road that you experience. And I think most women go on a road and there's so many potholes, right? And like, as soon as they get to that first pothole, they give up. And I just want every person listening that if you are at that first pothole, I'm not going to tell you that that's the last pothole. There's going to be another pothole. There's going to be another pothole. Especially think about the people that live in Atlanta or New York. You're going through potholes every single day to get to work, but you don't miss work. You get there, right? Even sometimes you hit a pothole and your car goes flat, you still get to work. You're going to Uber, you're going to stop, you're going to walk, you're going to get on the bus. And that's what entrepreneurship is. You're going to hit so many potholes, but the end is success at the end. Just keep going through those potholes.
I love it. Preach. This is so, and I love what you talked about, actually, your relationship with God. I do believe that there is something greater than us, and you have to be reminded of your purpose. And, you know, people don't like when I say this, but like what goes up must come down. Yeah. It is just the fact of how life works, how cycles work, whether it's the economy, whether it's our own battles, what goes up, and you can be on the highest of highs, and it can all like fall and crash. And I have definitely seen that firsthand, and I've fallen on my chin extremely hard. And a lot of those stories, like I haven't been able to tell yet, and I will. But falling, and when you're literally at the bottom, there's really nowhere else to go but up. But you need to sometimes be reminded and get that humility as well. And this is a great reminder for all of us to really like check in. Like I thought this episode was gonna go like completely different, by the way. And we're still gonna change everyone's lives and business and learn from you in every way. But I do think it's a great reminder for us to really think about why we are here and what is it all for. And I do believe that there is, like, karma is real. It is real. And there is a reason why all the bad things that happened, there were certain people that looked out for you. And now you're paying it back in tenfold. And you've now just created an army of, you know, thousands and thousands of women that are going to have your back as well, that are thinking about you in the most positive way. And when you do good, you get good, period.
Yes.
And I don't care what, like you have bad intentions or somebody, like it comes out in whatever capacity in your life. And it doesn't matter if you're a believer in whatever God, whatever universe, whatever whatever the thing is, it is still about energy.
Yeah. And
one of like the most, like when we talk about energy, like something that I used to be a huge Gabby Bernstein fan, and her book Super Attractor was one that like really shaped my, like, you know, a time period in my life. And I like literally teach it to my girls, and we talk about like your energy frequency. And think about it, like when you're on good energy, people are like luck, and how like amazing. It's March, and let's talk about the luck factor here. It's not luck. It is that energy. When you're on positive vibes, guess what? Positive things happen. You're attracting positive things. Yeah. And then when you are thinking something bad, or you do something even unintentional or whatever it is, whether it's cutting somebody off on the highway, like whatever the bad energy is, right? It doesn't have to be this huge thing. Like we're not all bad people, but even thinking about how we support other people, how we give our time, right? Could we have done it better? And you get off that energy for a second and you go into this low energy frequency, then guess what? The day goes bad, and the day goes bad, and the day goes bad. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to continuously stay in whatever state you're in. So you can take yourself out of low energy and get yourself back on the high energy frequency. But you have to be so intentional about staying in top energy. And we're not perfect. We're all humans. We're going to have our low energy. We're going to do something. We're going to be upset. There's going to be things intentionally or unintentionally. But it is important to every day reflect on, how can I stay on this positive energy?
Yeah.
And Miss Skittles, you are literally rainbow. And so I just want to be on your energy wavelength, and it's really, really inspiring, especially for me today as I think about my history and my background. And it's really resonating with me today, especially as I think about CEO School and all the work that I want to do for CEO School and the impact that we want to make. And it's really beautiful. So
But you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
And I mean, you are creating a legacy that we can all see and we can all follow. And honestly, like you said earlier, if you can see her, you can be her, you know? And so creating the pathway is so important for me because I didn't see women that look like me do the things that I've done. Like, I don't have another woman that I could say, oh my God, this person is a Black founder and she's made $16 million bootstrapped, or she has this many employees, or she's been able to do this. But now that people follow me, they're able to see, wow, she's an amazing mom. She's a wife. She has it all. Like, they can actually see me and say, wow, she came from this to this, and now they can keep going on that same path.
You are such a role model. Tell me about what's happening in your life, because you are working on so many amazing things. I mean, I would love to learn about the digital community, the co-working space. You literally have the largest co-working space in Atlanta, period. Man or woman, like, it does not matter, whatever it is, like, you are owning this space. Recently at one of your activations with Good American, you had the space holds like 300 people for a live event space. This woman had 4,000 women lined up around the building to get into one of your events. You are such a fun follow on social media, by the way. I'll pull up and Mary will pop on and she'll be like, hey guys, like, we're gonna do something here. I need like 3 volunteers like in 40 minutes. And then like her social media will like pop up. It's so fun to see you and how you do it.
I think that's what builds the cult following, you know? Like, I think that's what women love, is that I'm so real. Like, I'm so open. If you come into my office, if you come into my building, you feel like family. Because it's just like, I wanted to create a space that I didn't feel existed. And I've been to a lot of spaces. And honestly, the reason why I opened the bakery co-work, I will show you type of girl, right? So when I launched my company, my marketing agency, and it started to scale. Thank you. And it started to scale. I started to fly from Atlanta all the way to LA to join a co-working space. And I was racially profiled. Like, the experience that I received, I cried on my flight back home.
What happened?
And I kept saying, well, one, the girl followed me to the bathroom as a member. I had my LV, never full bag. And she followed me to the bathroom, was like, oh, ma'am, I can hold your bag. Like, you can put your bag here. Meanwhile, I was the only brown girl in the space. And every other person had their bag in the bathroom. I'm like, do you think that I'm going to take something? Because they were sponsored by luxurious brands, right? And so that's the first thing. The second thing is that we had a big, massive meeting for members, and they were creating their programming around all of their members. And when I stood up to tell my story, they said, okay, yeah, can you send us an email on that? When everyone else, they were like, oh, can you do on March 1st? Can you do March 3rd? And so to me, it's like, I understood. And if you know, you know, you can Google another co-working space that is now shut down that had a really big issue with race, but I just didn't believe it.
Oh.
I didn't believe it until I experienced it. And so my thing was to build a space where every single woman, no matter what your religious beliefs, political backgrounds, no matter what you look like, wear, smell like, what your hair looks like, can feel welcomed in a creative environment and be open to express your ideas and get the support. Like, I have measuring cups on every table because I truly believe never measure anyone else's success. You don't know what they're going through. And I also believe that we are the ingredients to each and every woman's recipe. Like, I can't bake a cake by myself. I need sugar, I need flour. And each person that I meet is the sugar, they're the flour, they're the spatula, whatever I need, they're the pan, you know? And so it's
I want a confetti cake full of Skittles.
Got you. It's funny, I don't know how to bake.
Shut up.
I only know how to bake dreams. Okay,
Cupcake Mafia, the bakery co-work, icing agency.
And I don't know how to bake at all.
That is a really good fact. Do people know this?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, we just broke an exclusive.
My social media audience probably knows.
Cut this.
but I don't know how to bake
No.
because I'm so busy baking dreams. I'm so busy helping women
It's a different kind of
bake
baking.
their dreams that I don't actually know how to bake in the kitchen. But I always tell my husband this. He's like, babe, you can't make a meal. I'm like, I can't make a meal, but I can make a meal. And that's the difference. So that's why you
can make a meal. Oh my
but
goodness.
I can make a meal, a couple of meal actually.
That's incredible. And so the bakery co-working, it's the largest space. You're doing really cool stuff. I love all of the, it's not just the co-working space that you've built. It's everything that you need surrounding a business in today's environment as a woman in business. Like it just looks different. So can you tell me about like, what are some of like the success stories that you're seeing, the women that you're mentoring through your community and just how it's all coming together for you?
Yeah. So honestly, when I opened the space, I had no idea what I was doing. I put $500,000 cash bootstrap into this space, just believing in it. Because I feel like when you are a female founder, you first start your business, right? You want to be in a co-working space, but then you need a photography studio to do your headshots or to do your product photos. Then you need an event space to do your launch event. Then you need a private office and you need a podcast studio. So I said, I'm going around and booking all of these different spaces. I'm going to literally put everything in one where you have a one-stop shop for everything you need. And I also did a lot of research on like WeWork and other co-working spaces and the membership model, right? And so we created a model which is like book, build, and bake. So you can just book our space and rent it out completely, or you can become a member, which is like the book model. You can build with us. So we have an internal team that will literally do your complete activation from your baby shower, your launch event, your whatever it is you need, your photo shoot. And you can completely build it out with us and you just show up. I mean, everything, wardrobe stylist, makeup artist, event,
Where have you
catering,
been all my life,
everything.
everywhere I go? Where do we get, this needs to be in every major city.
Yeah, and we're rolling out a tech side of it. So now you'll be able to go to the bakery app and you'll be able to put in, it's a menu and you'll be able to say, hey, I need 3 models to look like this. I need makeup, wardrobe. I want my shoot on this day. And you'll be able to arrive to the shoot and everyone is there waiting for you to bring the product. So I wanted to create a space where we made life easier for aspiring women. It is already hard being a mom. It is already hard being a wife. It should not be hard to be an entrepreneur. It should not be hard to fulfill your dreams. And so bakery is allowing women to not only connect and collaborate with other women, but to be able to walk into a space and get whatever they need.
I love this so very much. So tell me, Mary, as a super successful CEO, you're doing all the things, your company's in, multi 8 figures and in revenue now. Tell me about how do you juggle it all, right? So talk to me about time. Yes. I heard mom and wife a few times in there. Tell me about your family. How are you making all of it possible?
Yeah, definitely. For me, I make time for what I love. I think that it is so important to make time for what you love. And I love my business. I love my child. She's 6. And I love my husband. So I'm going to make time for it all. It works that we're both entrepreneurs. So we juggle our schedules together. Hey, my daughter comes to the office. She's now selling people artwork in my office for $1. I'm like, what? How did you make $200 in 1 week? But she's now seeing it from me. She's seeing that, oh, mommy works and this is what work looks like. And now she's applying it to her life. But I don't believe in balance. I believe in pouring into what you have the ability to pour into at that time. And sometimes
you're my
for
kind
me,
of woman.
Sometimes what I forget to pour into is myself. I am in the stage of my life, full vulnerability, where I am 100% pouring into my family, pouring into my business. And oftentimes I forget to pour into me. I'm like, if I just make it through this month of pouring into my husband, he's happy, my daughter, she's happy, and my business, okay, I'll be happy next month. And I don't know if that's ideal. It is working for me. Obviously, I do spa days and I do all the things, but I think that it is important for women to also put yourself in a bucket to pour into. And so that's kind of where I was burnt out 2 years ago. And I took a trip to Bali and I'm like, what is wrong with me? I never heard of anybody being burned out. I didn't have friends that are burned out. And so I started doing deep research of I can't think of anything creative. I don't want to run my business anymore. I'm so overwhelmed. What is going on? And I searched burnout. And to me, I never want to go down that lane again. So it is important for us to just pour into the buckets that you can pour into, but not be empty. And like one of the things I always say is like, don't help them if it's gonna hurt you. And I think a lot of women, we help other people even when it hurts us. Like even when we have the empty bank account, even when we, oh, my back is hurting, but it's like you're still helping someone else. You're still bending over, you're still doing all the things because that's just the heart of a woman. But we have to remember that like we can't help them if it's gonna hurt us.
I love this so much. I feel like those were the exact conversations we were having earlier today about we talk about the 3 bucket principle so often here, like family, and it sounds like you literally are another version of me. And we are best friends, like officially it's done. You can have it all, like everything of mine. So the 3 buckets, right? I've got work, I've got, my business, and then I've got my family, and then I have CEO school. And there just is not like, for the longest time, like I was in the same position, almost a decade. I did not prioritize my health. I did not prioritize myself. Yes, like if you looked at my life on social, you'd be like, oh, we take a lot of trips. The girl has all of her our massage appointments, all that was like in check, air quotes. But if you actually asked how my health was, I had the highest, like my blood pressure was at its worst. I was on depression medication, actually. I was like at the worst state. I was at the heaviest that I was at the end of 2021. Like I was just I just wasn't healthy. Like it wasn't, like I just was not internally healthy. My cortisol levels were so high, all the things. And you're absolutely right. And as women, what we do is even through all the things, like we've literally created this sense of like our body is in so much distress and we ignore it. It's on this fight or flight constantly. So the stress levels that we already have, our body just thinks it's normal. So now we're like functioning on this super high level of stress. And this is for most every woman entrepreneur. The rates at which like it's actually worse for women than it is for men. Just entrepreneurship in general is one of the highest rates of heart disease and all of that, but it's worse for women. And because we're so used to operating at this level of stress. And the reason is also because as women, you said we have the heart of a woman. We have so much of this all the extra roles that we have to play that doesn't get accounted for, right? We have to do the mom life, right? When the shift is over, I've got another shift that starts, right? You can't just ever be off. Saturday mornings, you're up again and you want to do it. It's not like you don't want to be there. So you put on a brave face and you like really are missing all of the things too. And then you've got to be the wife, and then you've got to be the friend, and then you've got to do, and then you're out here supporting women, all the things. I totally feel you on it, but it comes at us breaking. And it shifted for me. And I'm just sharing this with you. When it shifted, it took me to exit my business. And that was the worst mentality. Like the worst mentality is it'll happen then. It'll happen then. It'll happen then. It's never going to happen. And even after post-exit, I thought that I was going to have all the time in the world. Well, guess what? You know what time is? It's another bucket. People get it in a minute because a busy person is always going to stay busy. So it wasn't like I went into like retirement quickly and was like, I was on a beach somewhere. And you said that earlier to me. I'm going to tell you, Mary, it's not going to happen. As soon as it's over, there's going to be something else that's going to come. It's another business. It's another thing. It's all of the people that you care about. So everyone's going to take that time. What has to shift is we have to create that habit of actually prioritizing ourselves within that work-life integration. And that bucket of family, it clicked. I'm like, I am part of my family. Like Suneera actually belongs in this family unit that we're a family. I belong in that family. And every week I decided I was going to prioritize whatever, and self-care looks different. And self-care wasn't the massage. Self-care was actually working out. Self-care was eating healthy. Self-care was going on the walk. Self-care was me actually doing therapy and doing the things that I needed to do to get my mindset, my mind, body, and soul at the best place that I needed to be. And so I literally focused this last year and 2 years now, year and a half, really strong. I've had a huge transformation internally, just health-wise and just the things that I care about. And I'm off of the depression medication. I am off, I'm at the best health that I've ever been at. I'm in the best shape that I've been in my entire life. And I prioritize, every week I sit down and I'm like, my family knows that working out is a priority for me now. And I just incorporate it into my schedule. And guess what? It's not at 5 a.m. And everybody thinks it has to be at the worst time, right? You're like, I have to do it when everyone's asleep. No, I drop my kids. So I build it around how I've done my work schedule. You are an entrepreneur. You get to decide that. Nobody else decides that for you. So when I work from home, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, I work out post kids drop off. So I get to do drop off and 8:30 a.m. I'm either at Pilates or I'm at F45 or whatever I'm at. And that's it. And it's been a non-negotiable for me. And then on Monday and Wednesday, I am at the class by 4 o'clock. So I don't get to do the morning because I have to be in the office. I have to look the way that I do, take some time. I don't just wake up like this. No, but mornings are crazy. So Monday and Wednesday, it's in the afternoon, which all that means is, guess what? I'm leaving the office at 4 o'clock and I'm going to get to my class. And that shift for me of just, it's part of what I do. It's part of my day. That's the only way. And so Mary, it's so true. Really, the heart of a woman is so big. But it takes somebody else to remind you that you are part of the family.
That was so good. I have a question because I've been on this journey of, and I think it's important that we have this conversation. How did you feel with your big exit? Do you feel, because for example, when I lost my company, that was me. It was everything. I felt like I could not even walk outside because I thought people would see me as a failure, right? It was so hard to identify something that you've built is now no longer gone, it's gone. And the reality of what people will think of you and how people will feel and all the things. And now I'm building my companies to be separate from me so that I don't go through that, because I am building my businesses to scale and to sell. And so I think that it's so important. I've talked to so many women that say, oh, my business is my baby. And I'm like, you wouldn't sell your baby. So please don't call it your baby if in 5 years someone calls you and says, hey, I want to give you $50 million for your baby. And you're like, it's my baby. But this may be the thing that you need that will change your life. So I'm building my business and my personal brand separate, because I think so many founders, especially women, get caught up in the identity crisis of after they sell their business, what next? They're depressed. They're losing their minds because that's all they had and that's all what people knew them for. How is that for you?
Oh my God, you are so just knowledgeable. And I wish I had that level of awareness when I was building, because I was that person that my business was my baby. And I let my work define my worth, period. And you are so right that you have to separate that. Now, does not mean that you don't care with full passion about what you're building, because without that level of passion, it's still, whether it's it's a plant. Maybe you could sell a plant. It still needs nurture, love, and care for it to grow. For the fruit, I like a tree. Let's make our babies really awesome fruit trees.
Yes.
Instead of babies. I really love that. But I would say it was exactly the same. I was so burnt out of my business. I was in it for 10 years. That's also a long time. So it didn't happen overnight. And I think there's a lot of, I'm going to invite you back on the show, by the way. So this is not the last that you've heard of Mary, but it was depressing. What happens when you actually achieve the largest goal that you ever have and you land on the moon? I'm like, what's my next goal? Because it was you have a goal, and then you're constantly, you're rising, trying to get to the goal. But guess what? You move the goal before you get and then you're growing. And it's just part of your cycle. You're just you don't even stop to, celebrate that goal or say, oh my God, we're here. Look at where we are. You just raise the bar again. So you get so used to just raising the bar. And then you actually do it. You literally are okay, we're going to do it for $1 billion, and you do it. And then the next bar, and somebody else sets the bar for you at that point. And they're okay, now it's going to be 2 billion. And then you're wait, what? Do I really want from it to go, what's the point of the $1 billion to the 2? I didn't want that. And so I did what every serial entrepreneur who exits does. I took my family to Europe. I took a sabbatical, I came back, and it was you don't need to do that to realize I don't want to miss this next journey in my life. And I don't want just another number. And so although this company didn't exit in the way, there's also the different kinds of exits. In the previous episodes, we talked about private equity versus venture and all the different ways. I still own a large chunk of my old business. So, but the majority was sold, and I decided to still exit from it, because I wasn't trying to stick around for this next piece of it. And it's going to be successful, and it's going to go. And when that happens, it's going to be the most incredible piece, because my story is going to come to a close, and nothing will make me happier to see that plant really be successful and bear its fruit, flourish. And so, but it is a lot of that, what was the point? So just ask yourself as you're building this, Mary, and for everyone that's listening to today's episode, is make sure that you ask yourself what you want and not what everybody else wants or you should do. Like we should all over ourselves as women. Like we should do this, we should do that. What is it that you actually want to do? And so this time around, we exited, it's done. I'm like, I'm never gonna start a business again. I'm gonna retire on the beach. And then guess what, Mary? You are a visionary, you're an idea maker. You get your best ideas in the shower and you're like, I need to solve this, because you're a problem solver. And you cannot see, once you see a problem, that's it. Like you can't not solve it. And so that's exactly
the worst.
And that's exactly what happened with Worth. But this time around, you get to do it with more experience. So you protect yourself a little bit more. And that's exactly what you've been able to do. And that's exactly what we should all do, is think about our businesses in that way. But life comes first, and you can have a most amazing, successful business. You can have freedom of dollar and freedom of time and freedom of influence. You can have all of those things. And I do believe that it's achievable. And with that, Mary, I mean, you are just the perfect icon for all three of those things. And I'm just so grateful that we got a chance to just connect again today. And honestly, we met in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
It was so random too. So random, but it's not random. Life is not random. These are all a series of events, and you just have to put yourself in the right energy.
Yes, connected to the right people in the right room at the right time.
And get in the room. I think people are so afraid to get in the room. If I had access to all of these like amazing networks that are existent today, like get yourself in every entrepreneurial circle that you can. And now it's amazing that you can even you can pay to get into these.
Yes.
Like go to the retreats, go to the events, go to the conferences, because if you don't, then you don't know what what magic can happen. You know?
And the results that I've seen in my community is from them being in the community. Like, yes, you can go to a class, you can learn, you can transform your business from the things that you've learned, but most of the results that I see is from them meeting someone else in the community that changed their life. It wasn't from the class, it was literally like, oh my God, I joined a mastermind last year. I have literally friends from that mastermind. Like the reason I'm in Austin, I wasn't gonna be in Austin. The panel that I got booked for got canceled. And I was like, oh, I don't need to come. And my friends are like, no, we're here. Come. And I came, and now look, yeah, like it's all about getting in the room and meeting the right people. And those people are really going to change your life. So.
And it's fun. It's fun to do it with awesome people. Oh my God, we could sit here and talk all day long. Y'all, if you loved this episode, which I know you did, you for sure absolutely loved it, like so much, screenshot this. Tag Mary at Miss Skittles, tag me, tell us your biggest takeaways. I definitely want to have Mary back on the show, and I'm just going to put this out here. I think you can make a really fun co-host. Like this could be like super fun.
You guys, if you want that, make sure you send me a DM, like co-host CEO School. I want to see it. We want to share you guys.
Let's do it. I'm so excited. Screenshot it, leave us a review, and share it with your communities. That is how we grow the show. And I cannot wait to have you again. And this is so incredible. All my heart. We'll be linking everything for like the bakery, the agency, the coworking, all the stuff inside of the show notes. And please support Miss Mary here, because she is just incredible, and I know you will. Sending all my love and closing out Austin with a bang today. We'll see you guys next week at CEO School.
Thank you for tuning into today's show. If you loved it, leave us a review. We are so proud to bring you authentic conversations, game changer expert guests, and valuable content on and offline. The best compliment you can give us is by screenshotting today's show and tagging us on Instagram at CEO School and at Suneera Madani. We are obsessed with swag, so don't be surprised if we want to send you some. Thanks for tuning into class today, and remember, nothing bad happens when women make more money.